Yeah, and we're live with Kaldnar today. Uh, say hello.
Hello.
So let's get just right into it. How did you get into GamerGate?
Oh, that is probably a good question. Possibly a difficult question, but I'll try and explain it the best I can. I started off on the first day. I was already in Gamergate because I saw this thing with the Zoe post and the Nathan Grayson issue, and that initially made me kind of upset. I will admit, I mean, when people sort of joined in at that point, it was a little bit like there were different reasons for coming in, and I kind of came in because I was like, oh, I think these people are being like, I don't like this whole gamers are dead thing. It was basically it, and that wasn't I wasn't big into like everything else, so I decided to like I said my piece, and I sort of left for probably about 3 or 4 months. And I just left, put Gamergate on the back burner. I didn't really think about it. Uh, and that was like my intro to Gamergate, I guess. But what made me really get into Gamergate was my brother, actually. If you know, well, not gonna. I'm not gonna say his name, but he goes by Qualix, so I'm sure you can assume what his first name is. Um, uh, Now he was put on the block list by Randy Harper, and apparently there's something to do with like his work that she was like potentially getting into, and apparently like someone at his work like got in touch with him about being on a block list, and that could have potentially actually screwed things up for him. I think that's what initially sort of put a fire under me to sort of uh you know I really wanted to help out with this because I didn't want some for lack of a better word really really not nice people out there doing these things to relatively nice people like in Gamergate. Because I've met so many people in Gamergate even previously that are just super nice, and I certainly I would much rather side with them. And I think that's what encouraged me to sort of it's a cause sort of worth fighting for. I don't want to see people that are like my friends and my brothers and sisters and stuff be like treated like this. And I mean, the ethics stuff is really important to me. I think what comes first is standing by the people that, frankly, would stand by me, and that's what Gamergate. Because completely, possibly running off into a different zone here, but I'll kind of cut it off before then. That's how I got into Gamergate.
All right. Um, so currently, what are you doing within the hashtag, and what do you think of it in the presence?
Oof. What do I think of the hashtag currently? I would have to say it's 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 pretty it's doing pretty well. I gotta say, uh, like currently, I'm sorry, I'm kind of just going off of hmm. Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah. Well, what do
I'm
you
fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
what are you doing in the hashtag currently, and what do you think of it in the
Okay.
present form?
All right. What I'm doing currently. All right. I'll start with that. I'm currently doing basically I just joined in with the Facebook groups and the Skype groups and then the IRCs and everything, trying to get in touch with more people. So that's what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get in touch with people, seeing how I can help, seeing how I can sort of make a difference. At the moment, it looks like the best way for me to make a difference is to do things like streaming, helping people with streams because I don't. I'm like I said, I love Gamergate. I love the people in Gamergate, but I'm not like well versed in like old which company is which like nonprofit organization is evil or whatever. And so and this digging and everything, I'm not a huge digger either. Best thing I can do is sort of stream, maybe talk and give people a voice and stuff like that. Because I do stuff on YouTube quite a bit, and if I can use those skills to sort of help out, sort of boost Gamergate a bit, that's the main thing I'm doing. Is I want to sort of give, I want to sort of help people in Gamergate to be able to speak because, Lord knows they have more to say than I do. Now, as for what I think about the hashtag currently, or what's going on currently, actually, do you want to repeat like the second part of the question again? It's what do I think about the
Yeah, what do you think of it in the present form?
in the present form? It's definitely from ethics in games journalism to like protecting gaming culture in general, and maybe not even protecting, but like it's uh, it's sort of trying to keep the bad stuff out, and not like people who would want to change it, not necessarily for the better. Uh, and I think that, I mean, when you look at what we're doing with things like there's the whole smoking gun thing and everything. That's more than ethics in games journalism. That's people wanting to change games and make them not fun. I mean, that sounds like the most ridiculous plot for a movie. Is the bad guys decide they want to make video games not fun? But that's just that is how it is, and it's very sad state of affairs. And I'm actually kind of happy about that because I can get behind that quite a bit. I can get behind trying to stop people from like trying to ruin video games, and that's not even an objective subjective term. If they want to get rid of the fun out of video games and they want to sort of push their own agenda um, at the expense of other games, other industries, or other sorry, I shouldn't say other industries, other developers and stuff, they're hindering gaming as a whole, and they know that. We know that. I think the fact that the hashtag has grown, I think that's a good thing, and it sort of sort of shows that we become more of a community than just a movement. But I mean, everyone's obviously going to disagree to a certain extent. Some people will say it still is the movement, but I say it is. It's maybe becoming a bigger movement, more inclusive movement, and I do like that quite a bit. And that's the answer to that question.
All right. What do you think GamerGate is going to morph into or become in the future?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, back in like the second and third months, people thought it'd be over by then. So I have no idea because it's got to be said. It could go on for years. It could go on for a few more months. It could go on literally for as long as gaming exists. It like this is like the biggest thing I've ever seen in terms of like a consumer revolt sort of thing. So I wish I could say, but if I was to give my prediction, I would say the way it would like change or morph or however you put it, um, I would say it's going to continue to grow. I don't think it's going to shrink anytime soon. I would say it's going to continue to become more, because it is becoming a little bit more acceptable. I think for at least in some places, like for devs, to come out as gaming, not necessarily in like the media, but definitely in like the developer state of things. Um, More and more gamers are saying they're pro GamerGate. YouTubers are saying they're pro GamerGate. Um, Twitch streamers and everyone involved in gaming with maybe with exception to the games media, or not like the journalists and stuff like that, which are, I want to say, mostly corrupt. But we do know there's some good ones out there. There's like Tech Raptor and everything. So yeah, I think that's going to grow to be more inclusive. I think it's going to grow to maybe fit into more and more fighting against people who really do want to ruin a hobby, which is just a shitty thing to do. And more people are going to get behind that because it's not going to be so much about this one issue anymore. It's going to be more about multiple issues, all stemming from someone wants to ruin our hobby, and we don't like that. So that's where I see GamerGate going. That's kind of where I see it. That's kind of the direction I see it headed in.
And for the last question, what do you think GamerGate needs to improve on, and what do you think it's doing right so far?
Okay. Well, what should I start off with? What it's doing right or what it's doing wrong? What do you think?
You can start off with what it's doing wrong.
What it's doing wrong? Oof, I might get a lot of flack for this, because I'm not. I'm like terrible at GamerGate. I'm actually like I'm bad at you know I said earlier I'm bad at like digging. I'm bad at knowing what's what. So I do see people taking it very seriously, and I kind of think like I don't know if we need to be taking it this seriously, but at the same time I do understand there's a severity to it. But that's not to say we can't like you know we have to stoop to these like levels that where we're working in the shadows and stuff, sneaking around. I don't know. I'm saying we're doing that, but it kind of feels like some people feel that way, like this has become some sort of war. It's an open war. It's not a war in the shadows. I don't think, and I think it should be kept in the open. But of course, that's a very controversial thing to say, and I might get a lot of flack for that because I don't know if everyone will agree. Another thing I think we could do with is I don't want to say improving our image because everyone is allowed in Gamergate and we don't really have a face or an image. But everyone ought to try and just, there are some people who will go out there and be like, oh, yeah, Gamergate, and they'll like puff out their chest and wave the flag, and that's great. But at the same time, we also have to, show people that we're the good guys. And as like as silly as they might sound, or as just really basic, like I feel like there needs to be a certain amount of working to put our best faces forward, and that's what I'd say we can improve on. And what I'd say Gamergate is doing right, man, there's so many things it's doing right. It's hard to get a list. I mean, obviously, I think it's doing more right than wrong. I think what it's doing right is giving a voice to so many people. I think what it's doing right is it's um, it's supporting developers who go by ethical standards. It's uh, it's allowing for people to meet people with similar ideas and stuff like that. It's definitely it's doing so much good that it'd be hard to list them all off. If I had to give maybe the biggest example is it's doing what it's set out to do. It's improving the standards of the video game industry. It's making people who would otherwise be like running rampant, being either colluding or pulling some backdoor sort of sneaky shit. Um, we're keeping them on a short leash. We're the ones in control. We're showing that the consumers are in control, and that's what it's doing the best. That's absolutely what it's doing the best. Any questions, anyone?
I'm looking at the chat. It doesn't seem
Yeah, I feel like we did this kind of early, and
well.
okay.
They don't usually last that long.
Oh,
So we're pretty much on time. Is there anything you want to shell before we close?
donate to my Patreon. No, I don't actually have a Patreon. That's not true. I have two Patreons. Anyway, I have a Twitter, obviously, as do most people in this day and age. It's at Keldnar, so CALDNAR. You can probably see it in the chat. I bet Andrew will put it in the chat.
Yeah, I put it.
He's
No,
someone.
I put it in the description.
Yeah, you're always on top of that, which I really like. You know what you're doing. And of course, my YouTube channel, which goes by the same name. I will be starting next week. I'm starting a new series, which will be a ton of fun. and it's going to be all about people in Gamergate, and but it's going to take a bit of a different turn. I think you're going to like it. I think if you watch it, you're going to like it. So if there's no more, if there's nothing else, then end it all. I really appreciate you having me on this Q&A, and if I mean, I was going to say if there's any other questions, but I think we already covered all the questions.
Yeah,
So
I was waiting for the chat. They usually give question,
well,
but they didn't this time. So yeah, I'm gonna close this down, I think. And I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks for Canada to come, and see you guys next time. Bye,
all right.
everyone.